Yes, what's up, wonderful people? Welcome to the Vibe School podcast right here on Pomsy Hub. I do hope that you are doing well and you are excited to be having yet another wonderful time joining us on the show. I do hope that you can always purpose to connect with us on our different social media platforms. We are on Twitter at Pomsy Africa. You can find us on the official website. It's www.pomsyhub.com. And of course, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Just search for Pomsy Africa, where we are all about positivity, good vibes, inspiration, as well as getting to keep you abreast with everything that is happening around you in terms of entertainment, in terms of the latest trend, as well as topical issues. Of course, are from around the world. I do hope that you are well and you're keeping safe on this particular day, being on a beautiful weekend. I know during the weekend, people get up to a whole lot of, just getting up with friends, and also maybe getting to complete some tasks that you might not have had time to complete. We do get to appreciate you for taking the time to just catch up with us on the show today. We have a great podcast episode lined up for you, and I'm talking about new vibes, everything to do with new music. And of course, I would just like to ask you, when it comes to what we've had as a new music coming out of this particular season, we do have a big question in regards to who has the better album. Is it Travis Scott or is it Drake? I would just love to know from you, in case you're a big hip hop fan and you've had the opportunity to just, catch up with the music. I would just like to ask you between Drake, between Drake and Travis Scott. Drake did put up an album known as For All the Dogs, and it has had so many tracks. I believe over 20 tracks. I believe over 20 tracks did come off all that. And apart from that, we also did have Utopia. Utopia, I believe, came way before. And the conversation therefore was who has the better album between Drake and Travis Scott. And that is my question for today for you. Let me know. Would you be going with Drake or you be going with Travis Scott? Of course, Utopia did have many jams, including the likes of Meltdown, including the likes of Modern Jam, including the likes of Till Further Notice featuring 21 Savage and James Blake. We did have a friend with Playboy Carti. It had a couple of dope features on there. And of course, Drake did put out his album more recently. And maybe perhaps I would love to know from you who is jamming more between Drake for all the dogs and compared to Travis Scott, compared to Travis Scott to Utopia. That is my question for you today. But yes, what music are you listening to this particular weekend? Please let me know. You can always update me and tag me on Pomsy Africa on Twitter. Apart from that, you can also maybe perhaps get to tag us on Facebook as well, Pomsy Africa. We are always here to keep vibing with you. And of course, to know what's good with you and what's not. When it comes to matters, Vibe Scoop, we do have the vibes for you. And apart from that, we do have the recent BET Awards. The BET Awards, we did have Kendrick Lamar also scooping a big award with that. And I would say for Kendrick Lamar, he is actually someone who should always, be revered, in terms of all, be respected, be, I would just say, put respect on his name, just like a bad man would say it. Because when you look at his contribution to the industry or his contribution to the music, I do believe his contribution is so grand. And he was actually given that particular award as the best hip hop artist for this particular year. And I would say there was someone else who did not get the same kind of an appreciation, if I might say so. And this is Burna Boy, because Burna Boy was nominated for 7 categories, and he did not get to win any of those particular 7 categories. It's quite, I would say, it's saddening in some way. But then again, if you lose in all these categories that you have been nominated for, maybe perhaps people will say there is more than meets the eye. If you do get to ask me, there might be more than meets the eye, because how are you nominated for 7 different categories and happen not to win any of them? Maybe perhaps you should have won like one or two. But he goes by the name African Giant. He's doing very, very well in terms of his music and how he has been rating. If you look at Spotify, he's one of the best. He's one. I think he's the biggest African. He's the most played African artist on the continent. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I would say Burna Boy. He did put out his album, and his album has also been doing very, very well because there are people on the African continent who might want to come up and say, "Oh, the African music does not have a global appeal," but Burna Boy actually will prove you wrong, simply because his music is being played everywhere. His music is being told is being played everywhere, and that is how it is. And of course, when it comes to the new the kind of songs that he has put through that has been received very, very well, they include a song such as Common Person. Common Person is actually doing very, very well. Apart from that, there is also I Told Them. And maybe perhaps you could also check out his other, even earlier songs, which are also doing very, very well. And therefore, I fail to understand why maybe perhaps he has not been given these particular awards, or what particular kind of what I think he was played. If you do get to ask me, I think he was played because for the music critics, for example, Voce, they did say that Burna Boy sounds creatively exhausted with this particular one. Others did say that the Afrobeat superstar did outdo himself. So the music review platforms, they have been given different reviews. But for me, I can tell you for a fact that Burna Boy has been doing very, very well in terms of his approach to music, and also in terms of his commitment to putting Nigerian music on a global level, or putting it out there, so that everyone else can get a feel of what the Afrobeat music is all about. This is a Vibe School podcast that you are taking in right here with us on Pomzi Africa. As always, it's a delight to have you tuning, and also it's a good thing that you always keep us company, and keep it interactive as well on our social media platforms. Like I did say, you can find us on Twitter. And you can also find us on Facebook as well. And of course, you can also find us on YouTube. Those are the three platforms where you can find us. In case you're tuning in from Twitter, we want to give you a quick shout out. For those that have been following us on Twitter, we truly value and appreciate you taking your time and connecting with us in a big way on Twitter, and also connecting. Should I call it X? Because every other time I keep on forgetting and calling it Twitter, while it already rebranded to X. Someone might ask me, what is it going on with you and all the Twitter vibe? What is going on with that? But anyhow, I would say it's because I am used to saying Twitter, and therefore that is why you might think that it has not, or it has gone back to its original name. But anyhow, apart from that, we won't go into other more matters. Entertainment, I would say that at the end of the day, we won't talk about and celebrate African artists who are doing the most, and not just artists, but even DJs. And this time we are taking you all the way to South Africa, and we want to talk about DJ. It's called Koffee. He just called Koffee, and Koffee did have a very, very successful Black Coffee. Really, it did have a very, very successful concert recently. And I would say, for people who do get to doubt this particular kind of vibe coming from South Africa, we do have the Amapiano, we do have Afro House, we do have other different kinds of sounds, even Kwaito coming from South Africa. But I would say for Black Coffee, he did outdo himself also with this particular concert. He did get to hold recently, and this was a concert outside. This was actually a concert outside South Africa. If you go out and do a big tour outside Africa, and you are even able to fill out the seats of this particular concert, then it's really impressive, because this was a sold out show, which was held at Madison Square Garden, and it has been labeled as a historic moment for South African art and music. Because if you look at Black Coffee, for you to be able to have a sold out album at Madison Square Garden, in New York, then this is crazy. But anyhow, we are seeing more appreciation. We are seeing more appreciation to African music, like I did say with the Nigerian artist Burna Boy, and we also do have now this appreciation with this other artist who goes by the name Black Coffee, who is doing very very well for himself, and I would say it's quite impressive seeing all these progress that has been going on with this particular one at the end of the day. But apart from that, we also do have him, paying special homage to the women who played a pivotal role in his life. Because he says that Black Coffee made history in the weekend, becoming the first South African to headline a show at New York Madison Square Garden. And this has never been done before on the special night for him, as he became the first South African to headline his own show at New York's Madison Square Garden. Black Coffee took the opportunity to honor the women in his life through his outfit. He said, "This is my grandmother from my father's side. This is my mother, and this is my maternal mother." First, I did a painting of them. I've got this painting at the house. This is a painting. This is the logo of our house, like the crest of our family, and this is him. And I would say, when it comes to music, South African music and South African art, I always do see the need for people to appreciate it more, simply because people have tended towards listening to other music and forgotten their own music. And also, music is a strong tool for preserving our own culture and also marketing or selling our own culture. And therefore, when you do find people, wanting to put out their music in this particular kind of a regard, I always appreciate the kind of gesture when we do have also people supporting and coming and supporting this music to fullest. Like I did say, if you haven't listened to Kwaito music, please make sure you do so. Head over to your Spotify or your whatever your Boomplay. You can go to your Audiomack, whatever your streaming your YouTube music streaming platform is, and I look for this music. And if you don't know this a Black Coffee, then you need to go look out some of his mixes, because these mixes, I believe, are available on those platforms that I just named. And you do get to realize that for him, it's more than just putting out good music. It's also more about representing for his people, representing for his culture, and therefore you will find that all this is infused into the kind of music that he gets to put out. Anyhow, as we're coming closer to the winding up of today's podcast, I want to jump on into the whole issue of the revelations, the so-called revelations, and these are the so-called revelations are from a recent interview of Jada Pinkett, and Jada Pinkett, they were rumored to have been dating with Tupac, back in the day, in the 90s, the mid 90s. And of course, Jada Pinkett did come out and say that Tupac did get to propose to her, did get to ask Jada Pinkett to marry him. And Jada also said that her and Will Smith were done before the slap with Chris Rock, And when it comes to this particular family, when it comes to this particular family, there is a whole lot of things that are said by Jada Pinkett Smith, and here is a little bit, what you feel. And that is this particular family, and that was Jada Pinkett, Jada Smith, sorry, and she was talking about their separation. And this particular event that did happen, or this incident that did happen, when Will Smith did slap Chris Rock for making a joke at the award show. People were thinking that maybe still Jada and Will Smith were still together, but apparently they were not together. And also she did also put out this particular info that she had been asked to from, she had been proposed to by Tupac. And if you get to ask me, sometimes when it comes to this whole issue of marriages and courtship, I would say you will never know what is happening between two people until they themselves come out there and put the matters in a perspective. And I would believe that, in all honesty, that Zada is doing just that, putting her truth out there through this particular book that she is promoting. I do not know whether you yourself are a fan of Zada or Will Smith, but it's a whole lot of fiasco and drama with them. When you talk about open relationships, for people who did hear this particular term recently, the perfect example of these open relationships, I think, would be gestured by Will Smith and Zada Pinkett. But anyhow, that is my opinion. When it comes to matters relationship, I still think that you should keep them private. Just like Will Smith and Zada had been keeping their affairs private. Not everyone has to know what's going on. But anyhow, private matters ought to stay private, just like that. This has been the Vibe Scoop show right here on Pomzi Hub. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the broadcast. As always, it's a delight to have you tune in and just getting to connect with us on this particular platform and also on our other different social media platforms. Till next time, much peace and love. I want to leave you with this particular jam by Mick Mill. This is Respect the Game by Mick Mill off his Championships album. And I would say this was actually a good joint. Let's bump into it. I want to wish you a happy and a productive rest of your day. Till next time, I want to say Kwaheri.